Video to the Amazing Atheist, and this ain't gonna be pretty. But yeah, I'm gonna try to avoid the buffoon kind of bullshit that he pulled in his video. Alright, it's back on this, vegetarian thing again, this animal rights subject. And he just has to be a fucktard about it. He has to just act as if there's nothing that needs to be argued here, nothing that's even an issue. He argues against other people's confidence with a confidence that's just preposterous. He calls their belief, their knowledge, their knowing of the fact that there's something wrong with this system, this animal eating animal, this sentience eating sentience, okay, desire eating desire, that there's something wrong with that equation. And he looks at that and says, no, there's not even an issue to discuss. He is so confident. It's just, accusing the Kool-Aid drinker accusing the Kool-Aid drinker kind of thing. I mean, you talk about the fat pig calling the pig fat. I mean, jeez. Well, sorry, didn't want to really go there. All right, but he gets on this whole thing about cannibalism because he just blows up. He takes this guy's clips and takes them out of context, repeats the clips. I mean, really, this is not fair use in my opinion. It's fucking around. All right, for your convenience. You should leave his points in context, and he's making the point that effectively it's cannibalism when we eat other animals. I took my shirt off just so people appreciate we are made out of flesh. We are related to those animals. A lot of these mammals, we share 98, 97, 96% of our genetic code with these animals. That's where we came from. Atheists understand that. They should anyway. That we are part of that biology. That's our ancestry out there in the wild. Okay, that's where we were. All right, 20,000 years ago, we were a fucktarded beastie who didn't really know where the fuck he was, and should have been eaten. Apparently, was just nothing more than food for bigger animals, according to the Amazing Atheist. And there's no harm, no foul. If the whole human race had been eaten by some big beastie, it would have been okay with him. Well, anyway, and then the whole idea, the whole argument that somehow our awareness is super duper special is almost a religious argument. Yes, we have an added capacity. We can store knowledge that we've collected over 10,000 years. But absent that knowledge, we're just a bug-picking, scratching, scurvy little animal. Take away your fucking language and your books and your literature and your knowledge, Mr. Fucktard, and you're nothing more than the orangutan or the ape or the chimpanzee. And it's just utter, complete bullshit to think you are something more innately. All right? It's knowledge that makes the difference. So whatever standards you're applying, wherever you're drawing your line, you'd have to draw it for retarded human beings, or human beings of diminished capacity. So by your logic, we could enslave them, or we could use them for medical experiments, and there'd be no harm, no foul. It's only being a cultural objection, no real objection. It's just stupid. So many arguments can be made to you. Would you say if gorillas tasted really great and they were really healthy and added 5 years to your life, would that give us justification to lock them in little tiny pens, shove shit up their asses, do whatever the fuck we wanted to those animals, just to serve our needs? Would that be ethical? It's not about morality. I don't like the other guy using morality. It's a wrong word. Ethics, it's what it's about. But that wouldn't be a line you'd have any problem with drawing. Okay, well anyway, you just combine me. So the point of the cannibalism argument is that these are our relations, okay? They're relatives of ours. And that's the kind of cannibalism it is, okay? It's a metaphor, you asshole. Whatever. It's not even that. It's an analogy, a comparison, all right, to relationships we have that aren't perfectly, we're not exactly the same, we're different, but that we are similar. And we're basically cannibalizing other animals that feel, they desire, they need, they want. They do dream, they do imagine, they have active consciousnesses, and for you to deny that existence is just ludicrous. It's preposterous. You know, and there's no point in making some argument that once you go down the slippery slope of line drawing that somehow you're not going to stop, you know, until you get to atoms or something. Yeah, there's a few loonies out there who think atoms feel, okay, but you're talking about 0.00001%. All right, it's not a real issue. Most people who are in the animal rights movement are in it because they understand what a brain is, okay, and they understand the phenomenon of consciousness and feelings, and they know what suffering is, and they know it's a badass fucking thing, and that it shouldn't be wasted ever if we can avoid it. I mean, there's no justification for it to exist for no good reason. Oh, stupid bastard. So I'll play some of his clips here, but they're really disgusting, and I don't want to do it, and it'll take time, and I have to hit the right spots and all that crap, but we'll come as close as we can.
Obviously, plenty of people are going to find that idea completely reprehensible and say, oh, we can't eat human flesh under any circumstances, and they'll draw their line at just animals, and then you will say, oh, it's unethical to even eat animals, and you'll draw the line, you know, right at plants. You know, how long will it really be before someone comes along and says that it's wrong to eat any life, regardless?
I mean, you're eating cats and dogs. I'm sorry, that's a different country where it's morally okay. In this country, it's immoral to eat cats and dogs, so we'll just go ahead and go with cows and pigs.
It has nothing at all to do with morality. It's just a dietary choice.
There, that was the remark I was waiting for. But he did go on to the bullshit, you know, about the cannibalism crap and all this other stuff, and how the line can't be drawn. We know what makes our lives respectable, okay? It is our capacity to be harmed. We have this thing called a social contract, and that's a whole different issue. We've argued about that one before. All right, that's the thing. We can't kill each other. We can't do certain things because that's the social contract. That makes it us capable of living with each other. But ethically, we can draw lines about some basic things, okay? And one of those easy ones to draw that anybody with a half a goddamn brain, half a brain can do this one, is that pain and suffering sucks. It's lousy. It's rotten. Misery, suffering, harm, these are bad things. You don't impose them, you don't waste them. It's not that fucking complicated an argument. To call this just a dietary choice is stupid. All right, there is something in the mix. There's something in the balance. Those animals are not inanimate objects. They are not meteorites. They are not rocks. They are not dirt. They are not grass. They are sentient beings. All right, so there's something to be ethically decided here. And if you're just going to sit there and say it doesn't matter, it's just a dietary choice. Ice cream, wildebeest, they're the same thing. Gorilla, ice cream, it's the same thing. They're morally equivalent. They're practically the same thing. I mean, it's idiotic. Ugh, fuck. All right, gotta move on to the next piece of whatever fucktardedness.
Animal of a species and eat all others. I know a guy who owns a pet pig and still eats bacon, and still eats ham, and still eats sausage. And there's no hypocrisy to this for the same reason that there's not any hypocrisy to the act of loving one's own children and hating everyone else's children. Just
there's no hypocrisy in that? There's not? Of course, it's basically a stupid subjective prejudice or preference. It is, of course, it's hypocrisy. It's ludicrous hypocrisy, okay? Because they're functionally the same thing, and the only thing that makes them different is your attachment, your artificial, conditioned addiction, okay? The fact that you are addicted to something does not make its structure change. What changes is your perception. So all that is different is your perception of these children, not the definition of them. them, not the definition of what they mean. They don't mean something just because you perceive them. They have a meaning of their own, independent of your motherfucking stupid perception. So the fact that you don't appreciate any other children but your fucking own is your psychological bullshit. It has nothing to do with the innate value of the little human being, the little feeling creature, you dumb shit. God, you're stupid. Jesus. So yeah, I went through some other stuff here. I mean, look, the key thing is the brain thing. Brains. I mean, how many times does that have to be yelled into your fucking head? All right? It's about having a brain. We know where consciousness resides. It resides inside this thing with billions of neurons and all this activity going the fuck on. All right? And that's what it's about. And it's about this phenomenon of being able to be harmed. All right, that's not an irrelevant word. Harm. You got to look that one up in a dictionary. You've had to have heard this fucking word before. Jesus, you're so fucking stupid. So anyway, I'd ask you the question. So the human beings that were walking around 50,000 years ago, who didn't have the self-awareness thing. Yes, they had the curiosity thing and the fucking around with stuff, but they weren't all that brilliant. Okay, crows are pretty fucking smart compared to those assholes. All right, so is that all they were? So if somebody just farmed them, it would have been okay? Oh, God, stupid. All right, 1050.